All right.
So,
Woo, we're going. Hey. Wow.
oh, okay. So,
Ah, we're going. Don't smack the table.
in the shot.
Yeah, you're in the shot.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, holy moly.
So,
Okay, hi.
well,
I'm sure none of you saw any of that, right? Like, Jedi, you didn't know about any of it. We are...
Jedi mind trick.
What are we?
Mind trick's gonna work on me. Only money.
Okay.
What's the name of our thing, man?
A review of stuff.
Right, a review of stuff. Anyways,
Yeah, I only remember that because I watched the last episode.
did you watch us?
I watched like the first 10 minutes of our last episode.
What's your review of stuff?
So, let's just
No, I want to know. What's your
on
thoughts?
a scale of F- to A+.
Yeah.
So, I'll say, yeah, probably like an A-.
A-? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
I mean, nothing's perfect.
No, of course not. Okay. Well, hey,
Welcome back.
welcome back.
Welcome back, audience, to a review of stuff.
Episode number Trace, I believe. Depends on which order they end up dropping. Yeah. Today we're talking about something that is very near and dear to my heart, which Trayson has so kindly lined up here. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, 1 through 3. Why only 1 through 3, Trayson?
That's all we have.
No, that's not true. We have the 4th one.
We do?
We do, and it actually does tie into this a little bit. There is some canonicity that goes through it. However, if you're gonna do Ninja Turtles, man, do foam rubber or nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's gotta be foam rubber. So if your
Wait, do we have the 4th one?
if your Ninja Turtle isn't made out of a croc, you ain't a friend of mine. So
That croc?
not that croc. Okay. Anyway, let me give a brief overview of this one, Trayson, just because it is very much near and dear to my heart. These 3 movies. If any of you are familiar with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you may. I was at one point a missionary, and I decided that I would go on my mission. And before I went, I had a little bit of money, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to do something with my money that will make me happy. As we all do, right? That's normally what we do with our money. And so with my last purchase that I made before I went on into the mission field was I bought the DVD set of the first 3 Ninja Turtle movies. And the 4th one came out while I was on my mission. And I was like, oh no, I can't watch it because I'm on my mission. But anyways, so yeah, these movies mean a lot to me. My dad used to install satellite dishes. And he used to give me the manual that would say all of the movies that are going to be showing on all of the... Because we had the dealer subscription, so we had HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, all that crap. And he'd say, go and circle all of the movies that are 4-star movies. And every time that he had me go through all the movies, circle all the 4-star movies, I would sneakily, because he would record them, I would circle the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies whenever they would show up. He never recorded them, which is a bummer. But anyways, okay, so Trayson, this is your. We'll do an overview and then we'll dive into the movies themselves. So, this is what is. I kind of gave my overview of it. What is your overview of these movies in general?
Jim Henson.
That's a 2-word review there.
Yeah.
You got anything else on that one?
I like them.
I like them.
Yeah, so, I was going to have a comment on the 3rd one, but then I realized we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Okay, so that's the overview. The first thing I would like to point out, the series, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book series came out in 1985.
Okay.
Correct, and that was in black and white, and it was Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird decided that they were up one night late, doing college things, and they were, tired, and one of them drew a Ninja Turtle on gave him nunchucks and everything like that, and had his lip you know how they did, and he said, yeah, this is a Ninja Turtle, and then his Peter Laird was like, it's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and then he gave him little nunchucks and everything like that, and then And then it just kept growing and growing and said, hey, he drew 3 more and he said, ha, look at that, a bunch of Ninja Turtles. They were, you know how it is when you're tired, it's late and somebody says marshmallow and everybody loses it. But,
Oh, yeah.
hey man, marshmallow.
Somebody said the word 13 and yeah.
Well, anything is funny if you decide to put it into Dolly Parton. So,
Yeah.
hey, make sure you're in the shot, Tracy. But so that's where the Ninja Turtles came from, 1985. And then 1987, the animated series came out. And, you know, cartoons. And that's where you get the theme song, which goes... Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yay.
Heroes in a half shell.
Turtlepower.
Turtlepower, I got it. Let's got something on there.
Cowabunga.
And cowabunga. And if I'm correct on this, I believe that the first movie, the original movie, came out in 1989. Oh, I love it when Joel goes and he's like, that's right, or that's wrong, on the bottom. But anyways, yeah, so I believe it came out in 1989. Jim Henson, this was one of the last major projects that he ended up doing, was the Ninja Turtles. He said it was some of the most complicated puppetry that he ever worked with. And rightly so. Like, you've got these 4 different height, like, and you could tell that he put the effort into it. He gave each of them different... They kind of had slightly different looks, right? It's not just, you know, copy paste here. Let's put out a few turtles. So it was kind of a work of love for him, even though it was, you know, near the end of his life. It was one of the last things that he did. All right, so the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is set in New York City, New York. Makes sense. They love pizza. Funny thing enough about this one. Pizza. If you have read any Daredevil comics or watched that TV series, there's a lot of things that they pulled from Daredevil, which they used for the origins of the Ninja Turtles. For instance, there was a truck, went off, kind of skidded out, and a jar, right? Like jar, a canister. Canister is not slime. It was ooze. We'll talk about it. Fell off of a truck, splashed him in the eye, ended up losing his sight, and then he has all these heightened abilities. He becomes like super cool because like Stick is his mentor and teaches him how to do ninjutsu and stuff like that. So all of that kind of happened the same kind of thing, right? So the canister went clink, psh, I'm Daredevil. Clink, psh, fell down into the sewer. There was a rat and 4 turtles. And they started crawling around in the ooze. And they grew up. The rat became Splinter, which is a takeoff of Stick, right? And the turtles ended up crawling around. They wanted to have Japanese names for them, but apparently neither Peter Laird nor Kevin Eastman were able to spell Japanese names very well. So... Kashikando. So they decided...
Kojikando.
Ohio wasabi. Hello mustard. But anyways, they decided to go with Renaissance artists instead. So they went with Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael.
Yeah, like they're okay. Sorry to interrupt, but we're doing like a whole unit on the Renaissance in school. So like, it's by the way, it's in like writing.
Yeah.
So like, everyone went crazy when they heard those 4 names.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles! Which is weird, right? Because these came out in the early 90s, and you guys are, like, 30 years later.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Make up your own stuff. Stop stealing my stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, okay, when you're hot, you're hot, man. So this is still hot. So they are... That's the origin story of the Ninja Turtles, right? That's how they came to be, and they fight the Foot clan, right? Which is funny because... In Daredevil, they fight the Hand, right? So there you are, the hand and foot. Hoof and mouth. Just kidding. So this story starts off, New York City, there was a bunch of robberies, little petty thievings that are going on. As far as it goes, like, with cash and with money and with TVs and with stuff and, like...
Like, they're just they're stealing, like, pretty much everything.
Mm-hmm. And who's doing it?
The Foot Clan.
Yeah, which consists of...
people.
Bunch of teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're recruiting the youth, and they are giving them all of that kind of stuff. It's kind of a Pleasure Island kind of feel to it. Like, hey man, we can get you cigarettes, we can get you comic books, you could come in and skate around in our cool skate place with MC Hammer playing in the background, and all of that stuff that they're willing to give out, right? And they give it kind of like a kind of fraternity sort of thing, right? So you got Shredder, who he fought. So let me back up. So Splinter, the rat who trains the Ninja Turtles, watched his master get sliced down by a guy. I forget his name. What's his Japanese name? You remember?
I remember the master's name.
Yohiro Saki. That was his name, I think.
Yeah.
Yohiro Saki.
Yeah.
And anyways.
Yes, Splinter, his master's name, if you were wondering, it's like Hamato Yoshi.
Yeah. But he was watching all of, and it's funny because you watch the little puppetry of the little rat doing, and it's cute. So he's watching from his cage how to do all of this ninjutsu, and that's how he learns it, and that's how he teaches it to the Ninja Turtles. So anyways, all of this crime wave is going on. Apriloneil,
a
news reporter, ends up getting mugged. Or she attempted mugging, but then the lights go out. You see a Psy come in and hit the light, and then all of the thieves are all tied up, and April's sitting there going, "Oh man," and she was okay though. But she takes one of the Psys, which had fallen, and she puts it in her bag. Roll credits open up the beginning of the movie. You remember what happens after that?
Then you go into the sewers.
Well, Raphael, being a good ninja that he is, who lost his Psy, decides that he's going to go out and see if he can find his Psy, right? And he's not able to the first time around. He goes out to go see a movie, and he gets in a fight with a guy by the name of Casey Jones. Hockey mask wearing dude. He's trying to do his old vigilante thing. He beats people up with sports equipment. He's got a hockey stick. He's got a cricket bat.
No, yeah, he hates, was it like Shredder's Apprentice or something? I don't know.
Now we'll get into that one.
He hits him with a golf club.
We'll get that one later, yeah. When he's getting in a fight with Raphael, he's got some of the best quotes, I think, they're dumb quotes. Like, when are you ever going to use it when he says, "Cricket? You got to know what a crumpet is to know what cricket is." That was pretty funny. The one other thing that I like in here is that, like, the voice actors make on-camera appearances, and you wouldn't catch them unless you're listening really close. Like, Michelangelo's is the dude that brings the pizza to him. Pizza dude's got 30 seconds. And then he says, he shorts him on the bill, and he says, "Wise man once say, forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza." So, and he's talking to himself while he's doing that. And then Raphael, after he gets hit by a car, the guy in the car says, "What was that?" And the cab driver turns to him and says, "Looked like a big turtle in a trench coat. You're going to LaGuardia, right?" So, New Yorkers, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, April is still trying to uncover who the Foot Clan is, because it has all of these ancient origins back to Japan, and she's trying to trace this back. She's a news reporter. She's trying to get her scoop. But she gets jumped by the Foot, who tell her to stop it. Shut it was what he said exactly. You're right. So who comes to her rescue? Raphael, man. And he beats him up, and he gets his Psy back. And then she's knocked out, so what's he do?
I'm having some trouble remembering. He picks her up, and that's pretty much all
he takes her back to their sewer lair. Which is funny, because it's one of my other favorite lines in there.
It happens in almost every movie.
"I'm redecorating, Leo. A couple throw pillows, TV news reporter. What do you think?" So that's good. And then when she wakes up, she freaks out and says, "Why can't I ever have dreams about people like Harrison Ford?" And they're all she sees the rat, and she sees the turtles, and she freaks out. But he sits her down, calms her down, and talks to her all about their origins. And then they have been followed at that point. So the Foot Clan ends up going down to the sewer layer, and they kidnap Splinter while they're gone. Meanwhile, they take April back home, and they have frozen pizza, and he goes, oh, wait, I've got one. And they're doing impressions, and Michelangelo goes, yeah, see, you killed my brother. Yeah. And Raphael goes, oh no, not Cagney. And that's just funny. So anytime that anything bad happens in my life, I go, oh no, not Cagney.
So while just before they take her home, she's like, okay, I'm afraid I got nothing to offer you but frozen pizza.
Yeah. And Michelangelo pops up out of the sewer like a rocket and goes, let's go for it. Anyway, so they end up back to their lair, and they see that everything is trashed, and there's no Splinter.
Yep.
And Raphael does one of these things, and then they do like the old like 80s, and they go backwards. So it's like it's the city, and then city you can still hear him going. It's a Princess Bride, right? Like the sound is the sound of unbearable suffering. My heart made that when my 600 man killed my father. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so now we've lost Splinter, and we've got everybody. All the turtles are living at April's house.
Yeah, they come back and tell her what happened.
Yeah, her boss comes to see what's going on with her, and tell her to stop because he's also on the chief of police's payroll, and the chief of police looks like. I'm pretty sure the chief of police is in the Foot's pocket to stay quiet about it and not to actually solve the crime. And so he tells her to back off, and she's like, no. But the whole scene is played out really funny because like the whole time he's about ready to like discover a turtle, and like they look, and then the turtle goes, ninja. And then he goes and looks in the shower, and she sees the turtle, and she's like, ah! And he goes over, and he, ninja. You know where they were?
On the ceiling.
On the ceiling.
I
It's
saw
so
a
good.
show popping out.
Yeah, man. And so they're really good at being ninjas. And then once he leaves, April's like, and then Michelangelo goes, that was close. And she freaks out again, and he goes, time to switch to decaf, April. That was very funny. Meanwhile, after that, the Foot Clan has the rat. They have Splinter all tied up, and they're torturing him, trying to get him to talk, to say where are the turtles and stuff like that. However, how do they get discovered this time? Danny. Danny. Her boss, April's boss's son, is a member of the Foot Clan. And so he goes and he tattles back to Shredder where they are. And they all get him. Meanwhile, Casey Jones can see Raphael on the roof because he's all mad because Raphael's like, we should go out there and get him. And they're like, we gotta regroup. Leonardo's trying to be the leader, right? I feel like I'm talking too much. You got anything to say?
Yeah.
Do you remember the fight scene in April's apartment?
Yeah. So April's all like, "Where's Raphael?" So meanwhile, up on the roof, the Foot Clan is basically beating Raphael to bits.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I see you studied from the abridged book of ninja fighting. It's funny, Tracy. You'll laugh later. Okay, go ahead.
I actually do know what that means.
Yeah, okay, keep going.
So, meanwhile, they go to some kind of shop.
Yeah, she runs a thrift store that's downstairs.
Yeah. And so the rest of the turtles are telling April, don't worry, he'll be back any minute. A few milliseconds later, Raphael breaks through the glass ceiling and lands right in front of him.
Through the skylight, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have to fight, and they're fighting.
Yeah.
And they bring out all these axes, and they start trying to chop them up. And Donatello's like, it's a good thing these guys aren't lumberjacks. And Michelangelo goes, yeah, the only thing that would be safe would be the trees. And then there's one of the Foot Clan members got the nunchucks, and he goes, oh, a fellow chucker, eh? And he pulls out his nunchucks, and they start doing all that. It was like a nunchuck off. Oh, it's so cool.
Keep practicing,
because he got spinning it around on his finger. Oh, so good. This might be a good place to interject about the soundtrack. The soundtrack covers, there's bits of it covered through all three movies. They do that, sing it.
You sing it. Okay.
Okay, I'll sing it. And all three movies have good songs in them. In the first one, like I mentioned, MC Hammer is featured in there. I also like Turtle power, Turtle power, which is going over the end credits. They have there was an error in that song, though. They said that Raphael was the leader of the crew, which he wasn't. Get down, you out of frame. Good boy. Okay, so let's see, what else was there? Okay, so anyways, they get in a fight. Casey Jones shows up because he had seen them across the street. They go down. The fight ends up going downstairs because the floor falls out because they chopped it all up. And then now they're fighting down in the thrift store. And one of the Foot Clan members hits the power breaker and sparks a fire, burns the place up. And Shredder's right-hand man, ninja vanish, get out of there. And April, meanwhile, gets fired. Her answering machine says, "Oh, hey, April, gotta let you go. I know this comes as a bit of a blow." And then the answering machine hits one of the Foot Clan guys in the head because the cord burned through and fell down. And he says, "You could say that again, Chuck." And anyways, they get in the van and they go off to North Carolina. Well, maybe.
Maybe.
She owns a farmhouse.
Either way, it wouldn't be that surprising if they did go to North Carolina.
That's a heck of a drive, but we went to where that house is. And it is not the same anymore. I should interject here that there's a lot of bits in this first movie that come straight from the comics. Trayson, what happens at the farm?
At the farm?
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, Raphael was knocked out for like that whole fight.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And so they basically carry him to the house.
Yeah.
They keep him in the bathtub where Leonardo waits by him.
Yeah.
When he wakes up, should we tell him about the turtle wax?
Yeah, he's getting better, right? And finally he wakes up and Leonardo says, "I'm so sorry." And he says, "Yeah, easy, Leo." So now all of the turtles are reunited again and they're doing training. Some of the coolest stuff they ended up putting in the deleted scenes was like they did like these blindfold fighting, which was pretty cool. The Leonardo was doing some meditation and gets in touch with Splinter. He gathers all the other turtles together. He interrupts very rudely their game of Trivial Pursuit. And then they all go and meditate and they speak with Splinter and they realize that they need to go back and try to find him. So they head back. They go into their sewer. Casey Jones is claustrophobic, which is another one of my favorite lines. "Hey, you want a fat lip? I never looked at another guy." So anyways, no, he doesn't like tight places. So they're down there and he decides he's going to go upstairs and sleep in the truck. Danny is living down in their sewer.
The sewer. Yeah. They go back and then they're in the sewer again.
Yeah. Somehow or other, the Foot Clan finds out that they're there again. So they end up having a fight out in the street. And Casey Jones goes and infiltrates the Foot base. Ends up getting himself beat up until he finds some hockey clubs. And then he beats up Master Tatsu.
Golf clubs.
With a golf club. And the rest of the Foot Clan kind of sees that he's not really all that good. And then they decide that they're going to change their ways. He ends up cutting Splinter loose. They end up going back to they go back to the apartment where it's right by the sewer where the fight is going on. Shredder is up there on the roof. He goes to fight the turtles and they all fight him one at a time. And they don't fight together, so they don't end up beating him. But Splinter ends up on the roof and he goes, "Oh, I know who you are." And he goes, "Oh, I could have killed you, rat." Because anyways, he did a slice with that's how he ended up losing his ear. Because he recognized him and he recognized him, right? Because they both knew each other in Japan. And he says, "I'm going to get you." Goes and runs him with a spear. And then...
so Michelangelo lost his nunchuck.
Because he said, "Throw your weapons away."
Yeah, so...
Because he had him
He got caught on a ladder.
Yeah.
At the top of a ladder. And so... By the way, one part of their origin that we didn't tell you. So, after this is back in, this is back when he was just a small rat.
Mm-hmm.
So, after Shredder killed the other guy. So, Splinter got out of his cage somehow and he scratched up
Shredder's face.
Splinter scratched up Shredder's face.
Right.
So,
that's why he always wears a mask.
yeah. And so, then up there on the roof, after Splinter says, like, I know who you are, Shredder takes off his mask and then it shows the scratch marks.
Yeah. So we knew it was him.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Charges him with a spear.
Right.
So he Splinter picked up the nunchuck and he basically grabbed the spear and basically threw him off the roof into a garbage truck where Casey Jones was waiting.
Kind of, sort of. Shredder went to grab a knife to chuck it at him, and when he went to go chuck it at him, Splinter grabs the knife, drops the nunchucks, and down he goes into the garbage truck. Casey Jones goes, oops, and crushes him in the garbage truck. Pretty dark for a kid's movie, but man, I love it. It's so comic accurate.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't survive in the first comic book. But anyway, so that's the first movie. It kind of ends with, they needed to come up with something cool to say at the end, and Splinter goes, I've always liked cowabunga. And then they go, cowabunga! Roll credits. Turtle power to you. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, Trayson. So that's the first movie down. What's your rating from 0 pizzas to a slice of pizza to a half a pizza to a whole pizza?
And this pizza is divided into 8s, yes?
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I mean most pizzas are.
How much pizza do you give this one?
I would give it pretty much all but one slice.
Okay.
Leonardo ate the last one.
No, he was hungry. Okay, I like it. I give this 8 out of 8 slices. I really liked the first movie. I think that it's got a lot of quotability. I feel like they were able to plow this movie forward, and push it out before the studio could say, no, it's too violent, which they did for the second movie. But the second movie didn't kill me at all. I love the second movie. So this is a full pizza for the first one. Trayson, second movie. I think that we can give a little less plot line on this one, but we can talk about it. So you want to talk about the second one, or you want me to start?
Yeah, I'm going on the second one. I've seen.
Okay, tell me the second one then.
Like John was obsessed with it at some point.
Oh, the second one's it's boss, man. It's good, but we gotta say why it's good. And we're gonna get into our pizza rating. Go ahead.
So, do you remember how it started?
I sure do.
I remembered the last 1.5 movie.
Kino, little teenager dude, was going to go and deliver some pizzas. And when he goes to go and deliver the pizzas to Apriloneil, he sees a truck out the side of this mall, and he decides to go and check it out. He goes down there and he sees that there's a whole bunch of dudes with nylon stockings on their faces, a bunch of dudes robbing the mall. And he says, hey, you stop that, you're under arrest. And they said, hey. And they start coming over here, and Kino goes, and then he says, oh, did I also mention that I studied martial arts? And then more guys come out, and then he goes, help. And then they're coming to get him, and then right down the back stairs, there comes the Ninja Turtles, right?
Whoa.
Hey, stop breaking our set.
Breaking our set.
Okay.
This is the...
That's the scene, them jumping in the air.
Yeah, I think they came in through another...
No, they came the same way he did.
No.
They sure did.
I do.
They didn't. No, that would be about all that breaking through windows unless somebody throw them.
Like in the first one.
In the first one, they didn't happen. They just walked down the stairs. So there's a whole big fight scene, and you'll notice immediately that they are a couple things. One, they switched out Corey Feldman, who was the voice of Donatello, for some other dude that we don't know. But they start fighting, and they can't use their weapons because the studio said, that's rude. So, I mean, they do use their weapons a little bit, but not a whole ton. Michelangelo beats up a dude with some combat cold cuts because he got some deli meats. Leonardo, puts.
I swear I don't remember. Somebody used a yo-yo.
Yeah, Michelangelo used a yo-yo. Donatello used a little bouncy clown, right? Well, he imitated it. And then there was a whole bunch of other stuff, right? So Raphael throws Kino in the trash can so he doesn't end up getting hurt. And then by the time that the fight gets done, then he hops out, and then all of these guys are all hanging him. Anyways, they leave the money for Kino and steal his pizzas because that's who it was going to anyway. They go back in the window, and Apriloneil, who has since taken on the turtles as boarders, is a little bit upset about it because they're teenagers and they leave their stuff everywhere.
The cleanest one is the rat.
The cleanest one is the rat. That's probably true. But
that's a direct quote.
Yeah, we got some. There's some summary that goes on about the first movie in this scene when they're back at April's apartment. And Splinter, who had been up on the roof, comes down. He's talking to them, and he says, "Hey, we're gonna get out of your hair soon, April. Don't worry about it." She's like, "No." And they say, anyways, but what's going on in this movie is you'll recall the canister of ooze in the first movie. Mm-hmm. Well, as it turns out, there are some more canisters of ooze out and about, and TGRI is trying to destroy them. TGRI is the company that created the ooze. Including Dr. I forget what his last name is. It's not Baxter or Baxterman or whatever.
Like Baxter is like.
That's from the comics.
Yeah,
from the games.
The comics.
Yeah, Baxter Stockman.
Or from the games.
Yeah.
There was a movie that was released like last year in like I don't know like August 8th.
How precise.
I might September something 8th.
Okay.
I remember and.
I ate
like
the pizza.
Yeah, like the Superfly guy is Baxter Stockman. Yeah,
right.
Pretty much.
Well, and they still tried to weave him into the storylines as well, but in this one they didn't do that. And I think it was mostly because the Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman were both still kind of part of the creative process at this point. They said that they really wanted to have Bebop and Rocksteady in this movie. But they said, no, just leave them in the because it's too cartoony, right? And they didn't want it to be cartoony. They wanted the movies to still be a little bit sort of like the comics. And so they created two new characters for them, Toka and Razor. Now, we cut to the garbage dump, and what do we see?
By the way, I heard you say that was like one of the best shots. Like any of them.
You didn't tell him what the shot is.
It's a pretty good shot.
Tell him the shot.
So it basically scrolls over to a part of the dumpster where you dump, not dumpster.
Sure.
Like a little.
Keep going.
Dumpster. Either way. So then you see Shredder's hand slowly just rising out of the dump.
Yeah.
And so, I think it might have like cut out there, didn't it?
Yeah. But then you see that there's a bunch more other people that are old Foot Clan members that gathered at the dump to try to rebuild the foot. And they're all upset about it. Master Tatsu comes in and he goes, "Oh, Master, destroy it." The cub starts beating crap up. And he says, "I'm in charge of the foot. And does anybody want a challenge?" And then Shredder steps in and goes, "I challenge." And it's like, oh no, he's back. Anyways, he makes himself a new helmet. And they start saying, okay, we got to get revenge on the turtles, right? So the turtles are trying to lay low. They're watching April do a news report on TGRI. They go from TGRI, they see that there is from the other side of the hill, right? There's these gigantic dandelions, all right?
So let's go back. There's a dude. Yeah, there's a dude over at TGRI. You see him walking over to the side of the hill and picking one of the dandelions.
It was one of Apriloneil's crew members from the news crew is actually a member of the Foot. And so he brings back the dandelion. And I think was it at this point that they kidnapped... No, not this point. They they bring the dandelion back to Shredder, and he goes, "Oh, this has potential. If they can make these big dandelions, maybe they can make something else with them." So, the turtles, realizing what has happened with the news report, they're like, "Oh man, what are we gonna do?" And so, Splinter shows them the canister.
A broken canister. That has TGRI on it.
Right. This is what made them, right? Donatello is all upset about it because he's thinking, "Oh, I thought we would have come from something special, not just a canister of ooze." But anyways, I think the whole point of the movie is that you can be special from wherever you come from. Anyways, I digress. They decide they're going to go to TGRI, and they're going to go and see if they can get any more of these canisters or make sure that they're disposed of. I don't know exactly what the point was of them going there, but they decided that they needed to go.
Either way, before they go, after they say that, it brings you to the lab where they were making it.
I was getting there.
Okay.
And there is the doctor, and he's disposing of them, and he goes, "You're the last one, aren't you?" And then he goes, and he gets kidnapped by
The
Foot.
Clan.
And so they show up, and they say, "No, stop tapping." They show up, the Ninja Turtles show up, and Leonardo's trying to be careful about it. He's like sneaking around, and then Raphael goes, "Yo, Leo, let's do it, eh?" And then they say, "Let's do it." And he's like, "Oh, come on, guys." Anyways, they go in there, and there's all these lights, and they're like, "Oh man, it's like video games in 3D," which is a really dated reference.
Yep.
But it's kind of funny. And then all of a sudden, after they find out that there's the last canister of ooze that's out and it's still active, they don't know what to do with it. What happens then?
By the way, about the video games and 3D thing, this was about so I just looked at the back of the DVD. It says it was made in 1991.
Correct.
So so it's the Super Nintendo era.
Right. There's not a ton of 3D video games at this point.
Not a ton. The most 3D that I can think of at that point was probably Super Mario Kart.
Okay, well, I don't know about the years on that one, but okay. So they end up getting in a fight with the Foot because the Foot's still there, and Master Tatsu goes, "Oh, I got the canister," and they go, "Oh no, he had the canister." So they go try to fight him, and they end up not winning the fight. And so they take off with the canister, and we gotta give him a name.
Henry.
Dr. Henry.
Yeah.
And he looks like a Henry because he's English, right? It's kind of weird that he's in New York. But anyway, so they take off with that, and he starts to create Tokka and Razor for Shredder because they kind of they intimidate him to do it. They go, a lot of that. And he goes, all right. So, but what does Tokka and Razor come out as, which makes Shredder not so happy? Babies! Yeah, that's right. So they come out and they go, "Dada! Dada!" And anyway. Mama? Yeah, mama. But as it turns out, they can lift up a truck. They can do a bunch of stuff. So, since they can't find the Ninja Turtles, they just start doing chaos because they figure the Ninja Turtles who are vigilantes will come and they will come and stop them, right? So, I love when he finally is deciding that, he tells them, "Go play." and so they just, "Master said have fun." And they start knocking over light poles and crud, breaking cars. And what do we do after that?
Then it's April's news report on the scene.
Okay. And Kino, he goes and he discovers April's got, so they're talking about it, and excuse you. So April he's like, "I got some pizzas. I know that you order so much. I figured you wouldn't mind some extra." And she's like, "Oh, no, I'm good." And she realizes that there's some nunchucks. She's like, "What's that?" And he goes, "Oh, I just always do a little chucking." And Michelangelo's like, but,
see him hiding.
yeah. He ends up stomping on Raphael's foot. All of the turtles come out. They're discovered, and he faints. And then he has to tell the origin story again, right? So he tells them where they came from. Splinter comes and tells them, who they are. They come up with the harebrained idea that, hey, we can go and infiltrate the Foot Clan, know where they are, and shut them down, right? And Raphael's like, "It's a pretty good idea." And then Splinter was like,
No.
No. Oh, that's the other one I forgot about. Anytime that the turtles get in trouble in April's apartment, he tells them to go do 10 flips. So they go, and they go flip off the wall. And it worked the first time, but then at this one, when he's leaving, when Kino's leaving, he goes, you got Michelangelo who got in trouble. He's like, do 10 flips. So he's over 1, 2, not flipping, but just like, oh. And then he gets caught and he goes, 1, yeah, 1. So he goes back and does the flips. But anyway, so they go to the Foot Clan. Kino is, with the help of Raphael, able to infiltrate the Foot, go and becomes a member of it, but then they get caught. And what happens?
Raphael got captured.
And Raphael gets captured and tied up to a post. Because now Shredder's got some bait. So he's going to get the rest of the Ninja Turtles and get him. So they go in, they sneak in to the junkyard, they see where he is, because Kino comes back and tells him, get out of here or I'll kick both your butts, whatever. Anyways, so he comes back and then they go sneaking in. Do you remember the lines that are happening in this one? Where they sneak in?
No.
Well, that was easy. A little too easy. And he goes, it's quiet. A little too quiet. Hey, look, it's Raph. Yeah. A little too raph. Just one of the best lines ever. So they end up getting jumped. There is they're on a net. They're going to go and drop them on a bunch of spiky stuff to kill the turtles. It's kind of cartoony, but they end up getting Raphael safe. Splinter shoots the arrow, and the net goes, and they're safe. But then they end up getting in their first fight with Tulka and Razor. It does not seem to be going very well.
Yeah.
But luckily, the day is saved when they discover
a manhole cover.
A manhole cover. And phew, down they go. They save Dr. Henry.
Also, yeah, Razor, I think, Toka. I don't know.
Razor is
Yeah. He tries to
Toka, sorry.
Yeah, he tries to go down after them, but by the way, he is also a turtle.
Yeah, he's a snapping turtle. He's bigger. He's got a spiked shell.
Yeah, he got a spiked shell. But he goes down there and his shell is too big. So Michelangelo is having fun.
Tickling his feet. Yeah.
Tickling his feet.
Good you do. Anyways, they end up saving Dr. Henry, and he starts talking to him about kind of what's going on with them. They needed to find another house. Oh, I forgot to say, before that, Dr. Flippin, whatever.
Henry.
Not Dr. Henry, sorry. Raphael took off, and they were meanwhile looking for a house. They found a house, which was an old abandoned subway station.
It was in this. They were looking for a different sewer to hide in.
So what Dr. Henry decides to do with them is they said we can't beat Toka and Razor, so what we're going to do is we'll try to it's full. What we're going to do is we'll do we'll make an antidote to de-evolve Toka and Razor so that they can beat the Foot Clan and beat Shredder. He's trying to figure out how they can get them to take the antidote. They have to take it orally, so they can't really shoot them with it. So they find the Foot Clan again, and they say, we're going to offer you the traditional pre-fight donut. And the whole crowd just goes, pre-fight donut? And so they do. They're trying to feed these big lugs donuts. When they feed them the donuts, it's not working because they start burping. And the carbon dioxide is needed in order to make the reaction happen. And so they start getting in a fight, and they're getting chucked all over the place. They get chucked through a wall, and what do they find on the other side of the wall?
A disco party.
Well, sort of. They find vanillaice, and he's going, go ninja, go. They decide that the way that they can keep the CO2 in Toka and Razor is to hit them both in the mouth with
a fire extinguisher.
Right. There's some really good choreography that's going on right there. But the party is over when Shredder shows up, and he's got
the canister, the rest of the mutagen.
One last vial of ooze. Right? And they go, oh no, what are we gonna do? And then he has the whole, I don't know. Kino comes in and kicks it out of his hand, right? Or he kicks the big canister out. He's got one vial, he's gonna pour it all over this girl. Anyways, they end up kicking Shredder out, and he's out, and so they decide they're going out there to go find him, and they're like, where is he? And then he has drank the whole canister, the whole vial of ooze, and he turns into Super Shredder, and he's underneath the docks, and he starts like killing them and breaking all of the posts, and the dock is starting to come down, and they say, wait, you're gonna kill all of us? He says, well, so be it. And then they say, well, you know what we are? We're turtles. So they go and they hop in the river, and you see the shells pop up. It's pretty cool. That's one of my favorite spots in the trailers. They got the shells popping up. But they end up being okay.
One more thing that was in the first movie.
Whoa, going all the way back.
So, yeah, sorry.
Okay, what you got?
During the fight in the thrift store, so this quote is in pretty much every one of the movies.
That's I love being a turtle. Right. And so they say that right then. They head back, and Splinter says, were you seen? And they say, no, we practiced the art of invisibility. And they shows up the newspaper to him, says that go ninja, go. And he says,
raph is born.
He says, practice harder. And then he says, I made another funny. Because he said I made a funny after.
He said, go ninja, go.
Oh, that was it.
And then they started
and they have to do flips. Yeah. And so that is the second movie. Trayson, how many pizza slices do you give this movie?
I forgot about that. I would say like it's about the same as the first one.
7 out of 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 7 or 6 out of 8. I don't know.
You had another turtle eat another piece? It might have been Mikey.
Yeah, it
might have been Mikey. He prefers penicillin on his pizza. Nah, just kidding. That was a first movie joke. For me, I might need to agree with you. I kind of like this one a little less than the first one.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I guess it's maybe you just get older, you like darker movies. So this one was a little bit more cartoony for me. I still like it. I think that it's you can't. This is the only other thing that Vanillaice ended up ever doing with his career. I like I feel like some of the fight scenes were still good in spite of I like the dancing. Yeah. And it was good to bring back Shredder, and you've got most of the original actors and actresses. You've swapped out Apriloneil. It's like as if we wouldn't notice. Now she's a brunette.
It got way too switched on the third one.
No, well, it's the same actress, but she's cut her hair in the third one.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give that one 7 out of 8 slices of pizza. Absolutely rewatchable. If you're going to binge watch the series and you only get to the first 2, it's not a bad way to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Third movie, Tracy. We might be quick on this one because honestly, the plot line to this one's still kind of surprising. Like I'm like this.
Yeah. Plus we're at like 50 minutes.
Yeah, we're good. We'll just go with it. So third movie, they are still in the subway, and they are having a good time training, except for Raphael, who is mad about it. Apriloneil shows up. She's got a whole bunch of stuff that she's got at the op shop.
Turtle tantrum.
Yeah. So she's got. And by the way, the puppetry is different on this one. This one, the first 2 were done by Jim Henson's workshop, and the second movie was dedicated to Jim Henson. But the third movie was done by some other company that is not the same, and they kind of phoned it in. All of the turtles look alike. They've got all these weird spots. The mechanics on the face are really static. They don't necessarily show as much emotion. But if you can get past that, the script is not horrible. It just kind of feels like a large episode of the TV series. So yeah, she's got this like Japanese egg timer is what they call it, and it's a lantern, but it.
Look, okay.
Yeah, it's right there on the cover.
You can see it.
Yeah, it's over there. See, bink, bink.
Show it to the tracing cam.
Show it to the tracing cam, yeah, for the tracing peoples, the tracing fans. But anyway, so they got this thing, and they're hanging out, they're playing around with it, and then April is holding it. And then all of a sudden, it starts spinning and getting all crazy electric-y, zappy.
No, but then it shows something like in like 16 something.
Like 1609, I think.
Like 1609 or something.
Feudal Japan.
Feudalism. So there's this dude.
But Corey Feldman is back as the voice of Donatello. I should point that out. Go ahead, Tracy.
So there's this dude, and so what I can remember is he sneaks into this little shack, and he finds the egg timer.
Mm-hmm.
And so he picked it up, and so...
Is Emperor Nagasaki's son.
Nagasaki.
Yeah, but I forget what his son's name is.
Me too.
Me too, yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that might be the girl. I don't know. Japanese names, right? See, we can't spell them either. But try not to be racist. So, they end up having... where was I? Apriloneil switches places in time with that guy. So he shows up, he's in April's clothes. She shows up, she's in his clothes. And she is all types of confused, but she's about ready to get killed because they think she's a witch. And she's not a witch, but she has a little Walkman out there. There's an Englishman, whose name is Walker, who is trying to sell guns and ammo to the Emperor in order to fight his war, because there are people that don't want to be a part of, his system of ruling. And he's like, no, I don't want to do it. And anyways, yeah, I can, once I get her to sing or whatever, then we can... Anyway, the turtles are all types of confused. They don't know what's going on, because now they've got this Japanese dude there, and same kind of thing, right? Splinter says, "Ohio," and speaks Japanese to him. He passes out. Anyways, they end up explaining the origin story once again to him. And then they decide, after Donatello does some nerdy stuff, that they can use this egg timer to go back in time as well. So they're thinking that it is in the temple is going to be if they are going to switch places with priests. However, they didn't switch places with priests. They switched places with...
It was like the Emperor's guard.
His honor guard. Right.
Yeah.
So they're riding horses, which is a weird way to, you're just standing in the subway station, and then all of a sudden you're riding horses. And Michelangelo was backwards on his horse, and he ends up going into his horse takes off into the woods. There's a lot of 90s references here that, if you're watching it and you don't have any idea about it. 93 maybe?
Two.
Anyways, he ends up getting knocked out, and the village of the people that are in the rebellion take him in. And the little brother, Yoshi, ends up taking the egg timer and hiding it under the floorboards, but you don't know that yet. So, once the turtles have switched places, and they get back in time, they end up trying to figure out where the heck Michelangelo is. And
by the way, one more thing. So, before they went back... Yeah, well, it's... Yeah, we gotta show them we gotta tell them about the funny part. So
tell me the funny part.
You saw... just as they're getting ready to go back, they see Michelangelo wearing some orange shorts. Right,
because he didn't want the priests to come bare-butt naked, because that's what turtles wear.
Yeah.
Bare-butt naked. So yeah.
Did you expect them to be wearing shells or something?
Right, when they switch places, right, and so the honor guard ends up seeing the prince, right, and they're like, oh man, bow to him or whatever. And the princess ended up getting mad about it. He wants to get back, but he's unable to at this point. So Casey Jones, who shows up again, is trying to keep these guys entertained, so he sits them down and they start watching hockey. And they start becoming really lazy, but they really like hockey, and he tries to teach them to play hockey. And then the only thing that they learned from playing hockey was
they just start beating each other up.
Try to get into fighting, right? Yeah. So they start fighting.
Casey Jones is like, well, it's a start.
Meanwhile, the turtles end up going back to the palace, and they find April in the dungeons and rescue her. Then as they're out in the woods, they're trying to find Michelangelo, try to find some sign of him. They end up getting attacked by the rebellion. The rebellion says, wait, these guys look just like the other one. And they go, the other one? Mikey! Actually, this is one of my favorite lines, though. Is Raphael is just looking at the water, and he's like, this is pure, clean water. And he's like, Leonardo says, yeah? He says, it makes me want to migrate. And Leonardo goes, ha, Raph, turtles don't migrate. Birds do! Which I'm like, you totally look like Barney the dinosaur when you did that. But anyways, they have a fight, and they win the fight, but then they say, wait, don't beat us up anymore. We're good, we're friends. And, because they're still dressed up in the shogun, like the samurai outfits. They end up going to the village, but when they get back to the village is on fire because Walker and his men have decided that they're going to attack to try to give a little bit of a show to Nagasaki. Hey, listen, this is what you can do with guns. And when they find Michelangelo in there, Michelangelo immediately goes to save the leader of the rebellion's little brother, who was in a burning building. They end up getting him out. He ends up becoming good friends with Raphael because he kind of teaches him how to just chill out and fly a kite.
Have fun. Control the temper.
It's controlling the temper because, yo, Yoshi, you gotta control that temper. He's like, did that come out on me? So they when they're on their way, they try to make another 8-timer. Like, because Donatello's a smart dude, right? So they try to put it all together and make one.
No, so April hears that about that. She's like, that sounds impossible. You can't make that. Donatello says, I'm not going to make it. That guy is. He's cool with his hands.
Smithy's son. Yeah.
Smithy's son.
But,
let's go with his hands. He's literally just whacking someone with a hammer.
Yeah. Well, he is. Meanwhile, Michelangelo is trying to teach him how to make pizza, and he burns the pizza. So he says, Frisbee, also cool, and throws the Frisbee at the Smithy. And hits him and goes, anyways, there's a whole bunch of like little cartoony gags here, right?
Yeah.
Plotline is slightly thin, but it's still got some funny bits to it.
Also, this one, when I watched it, it reminded me of Turtles in Time. Like it's the Ninja Turtles 4th video game.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, there's some little plot elements that are kind of the same to it. Mm-hmm. But they...
Except Shredder throws them back in time in the game. Mm-hmm. They get thrown back in time just to save April.
Yeah, no Shredder in this one.
No Shredder.
There was hints of him coming back in a 5th movie after TMNT came out, but that one never ended up happening. So... they decide, okay, listen, we'll make this new 8-timer. Donatello and Michelangelo end up getting in a fight, or was it Raphael? I forget. But anyways, it ends up falling down the well and breaking, so they can't use it at all, which I'm like, wait, you wasted valuable time in the movie to make this whole MacGuffin that didn't end up working. But anyway, they decide they're going to go back to the palace.
Also, one more thing that I just remembered that we all forgot.
What?
If they don't come back in 2.5 days...
60 hours, yeah.
60 hours, they're dead.
Yeah, they'll be stuck. They'll be stuck. Which is why April's like, I'm going to go find an apartment. Because they think, well, that's not going to work. But they end up going back to the palace because the big sister ends up being kidnapped. But they find the actual 8-timer under the floorboards because Yoshi's like, I don't want you to have to be like you. Anyways, stop. That's picking up, bud. No. Okay. So they find it under the floorboards and they end up saying, okay, great, we can go back. But when they do, one of Casey Jones's ancestors, I guess, whatever, he's one of the prisoners. I forgot to even mention him. But it's played by the same guy, Elias Hogue. Plays both this guy, is his name Walker? Shucks, I forget.
No,
okay.
Walker is like the
Walker's the
that's
main
trying to
bad
sell
guy.
the guns.
Yeah, who's the guy that looks like Casey Jones? Because she says Casey when she sees him in the prison as well.
I don't.
He's a spy. He's a total plant. But anyways, he ends up kidnapping the leader of the rebellion. They go back to the palace to go and fight, to go and find her. They find... They do actually end up rescuing her, and then there's a big knockdown, drag-out fight. Nagasaki is going to buy all the weapons from Walker. They sign a deal. All Walker's really got to do is get away, and then he's got his money. But they steal the 8-timer, the lantern, and there's a big fight. Needless to say, the turtles end up getting it. Michelangelo's like, I don't want to go back. And then Raphael's like, yeah, it's a good idea. And they're like, no, you guys got to go back. You're brothers. And April's like, I'm not staying here another minute. Anyways, meanwhile, the honor guards are getting back to the sewer just in time. They end up holding onto the lantern at the same time. What's-his-buck is activated at the prince. And then they end up barely making it. Oh, Walker fell off a cliff and disappeared like this, boop, because the CGI was horrible.
Yeah.
Nagasaki ends up in a giant bell, which gets hit by a cannon, and he
Comes out with his hair like...
with Don King hair, right? Which again, that's not a reference that you're gonna get. I can't tell you Don King. Don King! Anyways, so they end up making it back,
Wait.
So the music from this one... No, not that gone. But the music for this one, there is one bit that I really like, is when they're actually at the bar, and they hear... Oh, Tarzan Boy by Baltimore. It's one of my favorite songs. I love that song, and it ended up in this movie. And it's in the end credits as well.
Yeah, it is.
But anyways, I digress. They all make it back home, and everybody's safe. And Michelangelo's all bummed about it until...
As you might have guessed.
Splinter.
Yeah, Mikey's all like, oh, I might never laugh again.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say you made another funny.
Yeah. Splinter puts a lampshade on his head. He says, I said I blew away. Uh-huh. And they messed up his voice, too. It's not the same voice actor.
It is not.
But that's the movie. That's the trilogy.
Yeah,
Trayson,
so
what's your pizza rating? Oh, me first?
Yeah,
Okay.
first.
My pizza rating on this one is half a pizza. There's still good bits to it, but it's a dragger. Let's be honest. Like it's not like you're really excited about what's going on. I felt. I mean, there are some good things to it. I like it when they say, "Hey man, high three," and they kick foot at each other. I thought it was funny. But the costumes kills me.
Yeah, they all have spots of the exact.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. It's tough. How do you follow up Jim Henson? Huh? That's really tough.
Without actually being Jim Henson.
It was a hard task to begin with, but I felt like they did all right with it. It's just a bummer that it ended on that note. As far as puppeteering goes, I felt like it was mid at best, as the kids say.
Yeah.
Trayson, what's yours? And don't let me influence you.
Yeah, well, I will admit it's a 5 or 6 for me.
5 or 6? Okay.
Out of 8.
What's your points on it?
I would say it wasn't as good as the others because, well, one more reason, I probably wasn't there for the whole movie. I wasn't watching for a bit of the movie because I was doing the dishes at the time.
Because you just wandered out. You're just like, nah, I'm done.
I'm like, I was too focused on one little blob on one pan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to notice as well in this box set that they decided to use the puppets from the first movie. And the reason why, I think, is because the first movie was the best one.
Yeah.
And it's not like they steadily got worse. They just got steadily weirder.
7, 6.5, 5.
Yeah. But all in all, a good movie series. I think that everybody should watch them at least once. I recall watching this one in a drive-through or drive-in, which was me parked in the garage.
Wait, which one?
I watched the first one.
The first one.
In my parents' garage with a 32-inch TV on the hood and the speakers coming around. And that's what my dad did for us. But this brought people together, right? Hashtag and shout out to the Mings. Did you know that your Aunt Stephanie met Uncle Talon at this movie?
Oh.
That was their first date. So, yeah, good all around. In the meantime, in between time, cowabunga dudes, and have yourself a slice of pizza. And anything else?
Yeah, so like and subscribe if you can, pretty much.
Yeah.
And if you can comment, then please suggest stuff to us.
We love your inputs, yeah. So, anyways, that's us. No, I don't want to do one of these. Cowabunga! Wait. Let's do another one. Let's do my toe. 1, 2, 3. My toe. Okay, we're done.